You're watching ABC News 4 at 7 with Dean Stevens, Victoria Hanson, and Dave Williams. This is ABC News 4 at 7.
We said this is a story of addition, so we're going to continue to add as we see the damages there.
The president's major disaster declaration list is expected to grow even more as FEMA takes a look at the damage left behind.
This comes as the number of fatalities goes up in the state, and Governor Haley says things in the low country are about to get worse. The number of flood-related deaths in South Carolina now stands at 17. Good evening, everybody. I'm Victoria Hanson.
And I'm Dean Stevens. Governor Haley says the most recent increase is because drivers are ignoring barricades. 268 roads across the state are now closed, along with 141 bridges. The governor expects that number to increase as that water moves downstream. And she is urging all drivers to be aware of the closures and take them seriously after she says 5 drivers went around a barricade and only 3 were able to escape. Search crews recovered the bodies of the 2 others earlier this afternoon.
Yesterday, I made it very clear that while the sun is out, this event is not over. And so we have asked for everyone to not move barricades, not move barriers, not drive around them. This is a situation where if that road is closed, it's closed because we're trying to protect you. It's closed because we're trying to do this for safety.
Haley says officials are taking the approach, when in doubt, close it.
State officials have been warning us all week long that the water is making its way to the coast. And now we're seeing signs that's happening in the Tri-County areas, and one of the areas being watched very carefully right now is Dorchester County. Brad Bell live in Somerville in a neighborhood that we have seen hit very hard. Brad?
Yeah, the flooding is well underway. It is a terrible thing here. You know, there is so much suffering in so many places across the region, and this is really just a snapshot of what's going on. But take a look at this neighborhood. I'm standing in the road inn, but the Ashley River has taken it over. Those houses back there evacuated and flooded. The Ashley River is flooding to historic levels, destroying hundreds of homes, threatening many more.
As you watch it, you just want to say, stop!
She lives in Somerville. The Ashboro neighborhood is getting slammed by the flood.
Last night was the highest it's been so far.
Dustin Johnson, among those praying it goes no higher. Many of his neighbors' homes are already flooded out. Some have flood insurance, some don't.
I've been here 40 years, and I've never seen it this bad.
Well, it has never been this bad before. It's becoming a tired phrase, I'm sure, that this is historic flooding, but it truly is. These waters have never been up this high. Now, the people here think that it crested last night, and there has been very little movement up or down. But the good news is that now they do believe that it has started down. Really just a matter of inches at this point, but it is some progress. The concern, what happens next? Even those houses like this one here where the water didn't get into the living area, well, their crawl space is flooded, and they know they're going to have problems with mold, and they don't even know about questions about structural integrity if the water has done anything to the timbers. So many questions remain, but right now everything is still underwater. They are hoping and praying for this to recede rapidly. In Somerville, Brad Bell reporting.
All right, Brad, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Just a few moments ago, the only lane open on Main Road on Johns Island closed for the night. The past 4 days have been a traffic nightmare for those trying to get on and off the island.
But transportation workers say they are making progress. Since Saturday, nearly 14,000 people have had only one way on and off the island. We're talking about Maybank Highway. But the one lane of Main Road did open at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
It would be nice to get off. A little claustrophobic. I don't think they're taking too long at all from what we're going through.
The Department of Transportation officials will reassess the situation tomorrow morning to see if they can open 2 lanes.
Officials are keeping their eyes on 5 major rivers. They're all seeing extreme volumes of water as it makes its way downstream.
One of those rivers is the Black River, which has already forced residents to Kingstree to evacuate.
ABC News 4's Larry Rollo is live in Andrews along that river with a look at the conditions there at this hour.
Dean and Victoria, I'm actually at the county line between Georgetown and Williamsburg counties, and as you can see behind me, this area is still flooded with between 5 and 6 feet of water. All the way in the distance over there, there's actually a stop sign. All you can see is the diamond cutout. Notice you can't even see its post. Now, with even more water coming in our direction from Columbia, officials here are concerned with what that could mean for the homes in this area. I do want to show you something real quick. When we got here just after 4 o'clock, we placed a rock right about here. You'll notice that water has risen further and further up, and it is going up the line here I'm not sure how many inches that would be, but that is quite a bit of rise in just the hours we've been here. Now, Williamsburg County has issued a voluntary evacuation for the areas around the Black and Santee rivers. Georgetown County, though, has not. They say, though, if you are worried, you should just get out.
You go this way and the road's blocked. You go this way and the road's blocked. They can't even get out. I just fear that the water coming in is going to make it devastating.
Though her own home didn't flood, Patsy Ward opened her home to a friend.
It was like at least 2 foot of water inside our house.
The water was just below my window.
Tiffany Myers made the decision to leave Sunday.
In the beginning it was hard, but there's a lot of help here.
She's since returned home, but isn't sure how long she will stay with all that additional water coming into the area. Tiffany says she will be ready to return to the shelter if need be.
All the water coming off the Black River has been steadily rising, in different spots, and the Black River is running out in different areas.
Andrews Police Chief Casey Caper says homes bordering the Black River are his biggest concern. He says much of the area has already been evacuated from the weekend rainfall. There's
been about 10 to 13 people here at one given time. Some folks have then since gone to other relatives, and some folks have left here and went to the shelter in King Street.
Chief Caper says shelters in Georgetown County are ready to take in evacuees. Anyone who needs assistance from either county should contact emergency services. Now, that shelter we just showed you has actually moved from Andrews Elementary to the old Andrews High School on Martin Luther King Drive. Andrews Elementary was too close to the potential floodplain here at Black River. Now, 2 things to note. Williamsburg County, as I said, is on voluntary evacuation, and in that county, curfew remains. You are not allowed out on the roads between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. So it's 7 o'clock right now. You should be back inside your homes in Williamsburg County. Live in Andrews, Lara Rollo, ABC News 4.
All right, Lara, thanks so much. Let's check in right now with meteorologist, Sonia Stevens. She takes a look at our forecast this hour. Hey, Sonia.
Yeah, and guys, this flooding just devastating, and we are certainly not out of the woods yet. We've still got major flooding along several major rivers through the state. Now, here in our area, again, we are continuing to monitor the Edisto River here very closely, the Santee River, and the Black River as well. So coming up in the full forecast, I'm going to talk about the river levels now and when we're expecting all 3 of those rivers to crest and when they'll finally, hopefully, be done with the flooding. On top of that, we've got an aerial flood warning. So this is going to cover some of the other rivers across the low country in Colleton County. It's also going to cover area streams, area creeks that will continue to rise as that water flows downstream. But like I said, the good news is we don't have to worry about any more rain. And we're looking at clear skies tonight. It's going to be a touch on the cool side. We're headed into the middle 60s by midnight, lower 60s by the early morning hours, and then overnight we're going to make our way down to 57. So a touch cool, but a little warmer than we were last night. Lower 80s for tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine, a few clouds, a little bit milder on Thursday night. And unfortunately, guys, we are talking about rain back in the forecast. I'll let you know when coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Sonia, thank you. The husband of one of the Mother Emanuel victims has filed a lawsuit against the historic church.
Arthur Hurd says that he wants the church to share its records of donations. ABC News 4 Stacey Jacobson is live with the details of today's news conference. Stacey?
Victoria, some of these victims' families say they're worried about how the church has been treating them since the aftermath of this tragedy. And they also say they want to know more about where the money is going from all the donations.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh, come on, let's try that again. Good morning.
Good morning. Reverend Dr. Norval Goff opened today's news conference with his trademark style. He says he's one of 3 people trying to process thousands of donations sent to Mother Emanuel.
Mother Emanuel is one of 31 churches to which I have oversight responsibility.
Goff says the church hired an accounting firm in July. It's helping them go through the donations and keep records, and it's recommended they hire more staff.
No information whatsoever that establishes or provides any evidence of any inappropriate conduct on the part of Mother Emanuel AME Church.
But a lawsuit filed this week alleges otherwise. The attorney for the husband of Cynthia Hurd is asking the church release all of its records of donations. He says today's news conference was a step. For the first time, they learned how Emanuel plans to divide the money.
There is a church itself, Emanuel AME Church, and many contributors contributed funds for the church itself. That's right. A second category of distributees will be the Emanuel 9. A third category will be a memorial that the church has spoken about for quite some time. And the fourth will be an endowment also that the church has spoken about.
Another victim's family member was there Wednesday. Tyrone Sanders is the father of victim Tywanza and husband of survivor Felicia. He says he's disappointed in the Emanuel Church family.
And I understand right now about the funds that you're about to distribute. The survivors are not included.
Reverend Dr. Goff says survivors are not included because none of the checks was specifically made out to them. Sanders says he wishes they would have done more. The donations referenced in this lawsuit are from people from all over the world who sent money and checks directly to Mother Emanuel. All of those donations, though, are separate. Some of you may have heard about that money that was divvied out by the city from the Mother Emanuel Hope Fund, and that is being divvied up by city lawyers and by city administrators, but that is separate. That was money specifically sent and run by the city. Live in downtown Charleston, Stacey Jacobson, ABC News 4.
Stacey, thank you. Coming up at 7, crews have rescued hundreds of animals.
After the break, we will introduce you to one family who is making it their mission to ensure that no 4-legged friend gets left behind. We're back.
A mix of sun and clouds with highs remaining in the middle to upper 70s through the middle of next week. Dina Victoria?
All right, thank you. The Edisto River's rage has not just put Dorchester County's humans in harm's way, but portions of the county's animal population remains at risk.
For the Williams family of Ridgeville living on Canaan Lane, they were able to evacuate their home safely, but they left behind pigs, dogs, goats, chickens. Photojournalist Jason Ty captured the rescue effort in action.
Are they supposed to go in the cages, I guess?
A very big undertaking. This is life. This is what it's about.
It's awesome. I mean, things happen, and it's a good response to it.
Keep pigs so all the animals are on something, right?
I told them they're not gamecocks, but they're kin to it, so they cool with me.
That's how I'm gonna live with this gamecock rescue.
We're Task Force 4 out of Tennessee. I teamed up with them.
We let her go.
The report of some animals and livestock. One of the residences down here off of Canaan Road. We just use some raft work down there.
What you need to do is sit up there and wait till we go to put the other ones in.
4 legs and 2 legs, but it's easier to talk to the humans than it is to the animals. They're scared. They're not used to this stuff.
2 more sows coming in another boat.
They brought the 2 pigs up. They were exhausted. There wasn't hardly any fight or anything left in them.
Now, these are the last 2, so it's great they all could be united together.
It's about people leaving a heart print that is bigger than their footprint.
It's like modern day Dr. Dolittle.
It was.
Right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Coming up at 7, more on the flooding hitting our state.
That's coming up right after the break. Well, meteorologists with the National Weather Service have been in Horry County all day long, conducting flood assessments along with the Waccamaw River in Longs and Conway.
As Aaron McPherson explains tonight, they say it's crucial to have up-to-date information in case flooding like this ever happens again.
Just because the sun's shining
doesn't mean we can let our guard down.
Stephen Paff is a warning coordination meteorologist with the National Weather Service out of Wilmington, North Carolina. He says even with the Waccamaw River expected to crest Wednesday night, we're going to see impacts along the river for days.
The way that the basins are designed and with the swamps that are around them, those crests are very, very slow to occur, and the unfortunate consequence of that is their long duration. So we'll be seeing flooding in the Conway area and other surrounding areas that carry into next week, unfortunately.
So Paff and his team are checking the levels.
There are models that are run for each of these basins where we have the gauging and the amount of rainfall that's expected. We assess what had fallen across the basin, and they run those hydrologic models to give us an estimate there. So I mean, these gauges that are in place, so you might see them at some of the bridges, the USGS gauges that are out there are so valuable.
Paff's teammate Joe McKetta is with the National Weather Service out of New Jersey. He says they began monitoring the river levels before the rain, so now their predictions are more accurate.
Now we know what the input was to the river systems. We know where the rain fell and how much. Then what happens is that the process continues. Once the water starts making it into the rivers, we know how much of that rainwater actually made it to the rivers, and then we can route that down further downstream.
You're watching WCIV, Ford dealer.
All right, the sun finally came out today. It was just did not recognize that.
Yeah, hadn't seen it in close to a week. Just a gorgeous day. Another nice day tomorrow. We start to see some clouds rolling in on Friday, and unfortunately, rain in the forecast on Saturday. We are expecting scattered showers, which is not going to be good because some of those rivers not expected to crest until this weekend. So that's only going to make matters worse, unfortunately. But then small rain chance on Sunday, and we're dry as we head through the middle of next week. Trust me, it pains me to put rain in the forecast on Saturday.
I know, just driving around here, we didn't see that much. You see people putting out some wet stuff from their houses. You see what the floodwaters have left behind. So
terrible.
It is.
Don't need more.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. See you tonight.